Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to cover the ignition weapon buffs to Abgrund and Idea. We're going to go over what they changed and also which units can now run this set as their best in slot or as potential alternatives. We're going to start with Abgrund, and I will say I like their work they made to this set. I think it made it a lot better, but it still has the same issue as before, which is nobody kind of wants to run it except for Alice. There are some use cases that we're going to cover in a second, but it's really very, very niche. It is a lot better than before, like really a lot better, but yeah, it's still kind of the same. I increased its rank, I brought it up to B rank, mainly because there are no users for it. If we had more units that could leverage it, then this set would be a lot stronger, like potentially A rank or maybe even S, kind of depends. But yeah, unfortunately, at the moment, not enough users for this set. So what did they change? They basically changed the two-set effect to be unremovable. As usual, they're going to do that for every single set. And they also added a 10% crit rate. Before it was only 30% crit damage. Now we also have 10% crit rate, which is pretty solid. Then for the 4-set effect, they changed a lot of stuff. Before it was just 300% HP recovery, like 300% attack as HP recover per second you're concealed. Now you also get 200 energy per second you're concealed, which is massive. It's a lot of energy. And when you are revealed, before you only got for 8 seconds a 50% critical hit rate increase. Now you also get a 3-hit barrier. So you now can block up to 3 skills or 3 basic attacks, well, 3 hits in total. So it is pretty solid for survivability and again to be able to generate that massive amount of energy. So it's a lot better than before. Now it is with no doubt the best set for Alice, even better than the other alternatives because of how frequently she's concealed. She's getting a lot of energy and she can cast the special move a lot more. So great set, definitely improved Alice performance. And now even outside of the crit rate debuff floors, you can run it on Alice, no problem. Really great set. And yeah, that's what they changed. In terms of usage tips, here I wrote a few more things to consider. So the first one is obviously you can only run it on units that have conceal, but you can run it on anybody as long as you have Alfine on the team. There are some other units that can conceal allies like Evan, but Evan doesn't do that consistently. Alfine is currently the only one that can do that every basically 8 seconds, more or less, at times even more frequently. Depends on whether the fox is killed or not. So really good. You can run it on any DPS unit you want, as long as they are an attack scaler, if you have Alfine on the team. I don't recommend that use because, I mean, you're forced to play Alfine with that DPS if you decide to go that route, which I don't like. I don't want to be forced to play a unit with Alfine just because of that. So from my point of view, I only left it or, well, marked it as best in slot for Alice, and I did not give any other recommendations. For some units where I thought it was a good idea, I wrote that in the sort of ignition weapon recommendation section of that unit, but yeah, not in this page. So you won't find that information in here. But there is some general information on when you want to run it in general so that you can decide if the DPS you're trying to build fits in this category or not. Also, I said I don't recommend it on units that can get to 100% crit rate on their own. So if they have it in the kit or in Revolution subnodes, so mages, assassins can easily get to 100% crit rate just from Revolution subnodes. For them, obviously, you don't really want to run this. For warriors and also ranged, you might potentially want to run this because they don't have crit rate in the subnodes. You can also ignore this part if all you care about is the crit damage part, the energy provided, and the extra ability. Because before that was 100% true, like you are not running this set on units that are mages or assassins because they already have the crit rate. Now you can still do it. You basically lose on the 50% crit rate, and also this 10% here. But the 200 energy per second while concealed and the hit barrier might be enough to make it worthwhile for you. And if it's a mage that is an attack scaler, also the crit damage is helpful, so it's not totally wasted. And yeah, here I wrote some more, like briefly, what a unit needs to be able to leverage this set. So heavy focus on special moves because of the massive energy provided. If the unit deals most of their damage with the special move, this is a good set to consider. If they are attack scaling, obviously, because if they're not attack scaling, they do not really crit. So the crit rate and crit damage portion of this kit would, of this set would just be totally irrelevant. And if they have frequent conceal, either through their own kit or external sources. And yeah, I also mentioned that it is a lot better after the buffs, but still doesn't have many units that can run it. That is just the unfortunate thing. And here for the best in slot, we have Alice, as already mentioned, and no units can use this weapon as an alternative at the moment. Some good examples would be Arya, if you run Alfine, Urek, if you run Alfine, Gustang, if you run Alfine, stuff like that. So you have options, definitely. Just make sure they deal damage with a special move, they are attack scaling, and you're running Alfine. Because outside of Alice, every other unit basically needs to run Alfine. You could use it on Kisea, but I mean, Kisea is not really a unit worth considering right now, so you can ignore that. You could use it on Kunran. He has a good conceal, but again, not really applicable. So yeah, that's just unfortunate. If more units are going to be released that synergize with this set, great. At the moment, is very, very limited. But okay, enough about Abgrund. Let's quickly go over Idea as well. I did not increase the ranking of Idea. I did not like the buff that this set received. So let's go through what they actually did. For the 2-piece, nothing changed except for the unremovable condition. For the 4-piece, also nothing really changed other than the fact that you can now get the 500 energy 3 times instead of only once. So effectively, instead of casting 2 quick special moves, you cast 4, which is great on paper for some units, but at the same time, not having any survivability option, not having any damage boost, anything, feels a bit too bad. So I still did not increase the rank. I did not assign this set to anybody as the best in slot. Also in the usage tips, I did not change anything except of changing from 2 special moves to 4. But yeah, basically no unit is going to have this set as best in slot. There are some units that can leverage that for sure, like Alice as well, but Abgrund is way better. So Alice can now use 4 special moves in quick succession, which is good. Arya could also leverage that because she doesn't really need any other set. So maybe Arya is a very good user of this set, but soon when Rafflesia or Alucard are getting the buff, then they will definitely be better than Idea. Beta could also use it if you're using Beta as a DPS because his special move is most of his damage. Casting it 4 times can help kill somebody and extend his passive duration, so he's fine. Not exceptional, but he's fine. Then we have Dalwon, kind of the same reason as Beta. You can maximize the use of your special move in the first, in the initial stage of the fight, and hopefully kill someone. If you cannot kill anybody, then it's wasted because after the first 4 special move, you lose out on 100% of idea effectiveness. And Dorsey kind of there because I gave her the idea set before. There is no real reason to it. She can keep up the effect a bit better, the energy recovery block, but it doesn't really matter that much. I added Evan because you can have a better uptime on the mortality this way, but it doesn't really matter that much. It's better to have something that can reliably be used throughout the whole fight and not only in the initial stage. And then you have the issue that you need to keep him alive until he gets to the first special move, because otherwise idea is completely wasted if he's dead. So I don't know, kind of whatever. For Evankel is also okayish. because Evankel should be able to get the first special move no problem, and then she can chain 4 special moves back to back to back. But the thing is, she's basically a support now, so casting the special move that frequently won't really do much. I don't know. I think it's not that great. Gustang, if it's not maxed out, potentially it is a good set. You can run Idea so that you can get to the maximum stacks of the passive super quickly, even when he's 0 dupes. So in that case, I might consider Idea. If it's maxed out, I wouldn't bother. He's getting so much energy anyway. It doesn't matter. Heljo is potentially an okay option. I'd rather run Abgrund, to be honest, with Alfine than to run Idea. But I don't know. Like, casting the special move for him is a big deal because it's most of his damage, but at the same time, it's not enough to justify running Idea. I don't know, it's kind of weird. No survivability from that is also bad, so I don't like it. Kunedan, kind of the same logic as Alice. He can spam 4 special moves in quick succession, but that's about it, and then it doesn't provide anything. L is way better, I think, so no reason to go Idea on Eden either. Meliodas, I don't think we need to spend any words on him. Princess of Zahard, you can potentially go with Idea instead of going to Abgrund to Mago. It is fine, you can do it. I just don't think it's that great. I mean, after you cast the first 4 special moves, then all the utility is gone. So, I don't know. I really don't like that. They should have added way more things. This is too little. Quietro, well, we can skip him. Shane, we can skip her. Urek Mazino is actually one that could run it quite well, because casting 4 special moves for him would mean a lot of burst damage on an AoE. So I could see that being an actually good set. I have to test it a bit more, but might be Urek best in slot set, maybe, because of how burst it can get. Not that Urek needs anything, to be honest, to do well. I'm still running him on Runda. You can run him on Bari, you can run him on Bergamot. You can run him on Idea if you want. It's definitely viable on him, I would say. Then we have Shashia. Good uptime on the special move with this, but that's about it. It's only for the initial stages. I also forgot to add like Tawa and maybe some other units. There are a lot that can use this set. I just wouldn't bother building it for any of them, I think. There is nobody, except for maybe Urek, where I would consider it seriously as a good set. That is unfortunate. Like, it can literally work on a lot of units. It's just not good enough to be considered the best set for any unit. Yes, guys, I think that's basically all for the new Ignition weapon buffs. Let me know in the comments how you feel about them, if you, I don't know, have different experiences for some of them. If there is anything I missed, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!